you to automate your everyday tasks. I'm Dan Franklin. I'm with SIS, and we are hosting this presentation. Along on the call is Jeff Suwyn and Valerie Borek. Talk a little bit about SIS. We are a Microsoft Dynamics SL partner, and our headquarters are in Duluth, Georgia, outside of Atlanta, and we were founded in 1996. We specialize in solutions for service-driven companies and projects, and we have applications across the enterprise. Our focus at SIS is for project and service-oriented businesses, mostly construction and general contractors, engineering and architectural firms, specialty contractors, like plumbing and electrical, mechanical, and so forth, oil and gas contractors, energy and services such as wind or solar or water, and professional services government contractors. We offer a variety of different services, all the way from a current state assessment. If you are new to SIS, we can do a business process analysis where we'll understand how you're operating the system. We are full service, including software design, development, and deployment. We do ERP and CRM implementations. And along with all that, we can do fit gap analysis and requirements for implementations, custom application development. We can also do very rapid deployments or waterfall type deployments. And we work in solutions that are both on-premise or in the cloud. And finally, why would you want to partner with SIS? Well, we are a gold certified partner, and we have been for many years. We have over 20 years of experience serving Dynamics SL customers such as yourself. We have a fully dedicated support and customer care team. There's our 800 number right there on the slide. We are very experienced in doing consulting and development, and we understand your industry best practices, especially when it comes to project and service-based businesses. We have broad industry-focused solutions that we have special for these industries in both the Dynamics SL, CRM, and Dynamics 365 and SharePoint platforms. Our focus is your industry, not just technology. And now I'm going to turn this over to the next presenter.
Well, thank you very much, Dan, and thank you very much, everyone, for taking time out of your busy day to learn more about what's going on in that Microsoft Dynamics SL world. My name is Jeff Suwyn. I am the Marketing Manager for Microsoft Dynamics SL, and I am very excited to have the opportunity to speak to you today. You guys have obviously partnered with a wonderful partner, a very long-time partner, and one near and dear to my heart. So I'm glad that you guys are with them, and I'm glad that they are servicing you and for your needs. So today's session, what is Jeff going to talk about today? Well, as probably most of you know, we had a big conference scheduled for earlier this year in the September timeframe that was unfortunately delayed due to the weather. So I think we had about 4 or 5 sessions that we were going to present on all the great things that were happening in the Dynamics SL world. And so, not that I thought that you would, I know you wanted to sit through a 5-hour presentation, but I thought I would take it easy on you, and we kind of narrowed this down, talk about some of the stuff that we were going to talk about, and give you some of that high-level information. So we'll focus on things like life cycle, especially to a specific product that is reaching the end of its life cycle. What we have released over the past year, we're going to focus on some new web apps and enhancements that we've done around there. And then we're going to focus on some Microsoft technologies. These are not SL specific, but we're talking about these because we feel that these Microsoft technologies are things that we can use across the Dynamics SL world. And I'll talk to you about them, but also tell you a little bit about what we're going to be doing in our next release. And speaking of next major releases, I guess I'm letting the cat out of the bag a little early. There is a newer version of Dynamics coming out, Dynamics SL 2018, which will include things like Power BI, Power Apps, and Flow, as well as some other items. So that's our agenda for today. Once I'm done, I'm going to turn it over to the lovely Valerie, who's going to talk to you about some PCL solutions that are available to take you in your Dynamics SL solution today and enhance it. So with that, let's start with life cycle. What is that life cycle? Well, life cycle is that 10-year life cycle that a product experiences. So for example, Dynamics SL7 just days ago reached the end of its extended support life cycle. What does that mean? Well, of course, if you're talking to Jeff who wants to do the marketing, that means he's going to tell you it is time for you to upgrade. Hopefully you've already done this, but if you are still on this older version of the product, I would hope that you would think about upgrading today. Now, if that's of course my marketing side, but let's talk about the reality. What does that mean as an SL7 user? Well, that means that if you try to go on to support and go to customer source and submit a request directly to Microsoft, that you will be unable to get support for Dynamics SL7 at this time. So in general, if you have a question about something, it generally will be unavailable at this time. And that's obviously a big reason why we want people to stay up on the latest and greatest versions of Dynamics SL, because we can address their issues, we can talk to them about their problems and address them, and we can also work with them if there's a hot fix or any latest updates. So what this usually brings me to is, well, Jeff, lifecycle, how does that kind of relate to all of the Dynamics SL world? So I kind of put this nice little slide together to hopefully let you understand where we are in this whole process. So starting on the right-hand side of the screen, that's what we're talking about. There's basically, it has got to the end of the support lifecycle. It's reached its 10-year limit here. And right now you have no support available for Dynamics SL7 directly from Microsoft. Now, how about SL 2011, Jeff? I'm still on that right now. Well, that's fine. You are still in extended support, which means that you can call, you can get requests, hey, I'm having an issue, and go ahead and type in your request and start talking to a support engineer directly at Microsoft. That's still there. Now, what has changed for you in the SL 2011 world is no longer can you get a hot fix. So if you find an issue, something after 5 years and it hasn't been addressed, well, that hot fix will not be addressed. The bigger one is there are no year-end updates. Now, this is not an SL thing. This is a Dynamics and Microsoft thing. Basically, the idea is after mainstream support, anything in extended support does not get year-end updates. What could that be? W-2s, 1099 updates, any changes to the core product to keep track of additional boxes that we need to. You will not get that from the standard SL2011 product. With that in mind, Miss Valerie will talk to you about another option that you might have if you still are in 2011 and need those, and I'll let her chime on that just a little later this afternoon. Then the other question I get usually around extended support, well, when does extended support, if extended support just ended for SL7, how about 2011? Well, that's going to go through 2021. So you've got some time there, but obviously we want you on the newest so you can take advantage of those features. And last but not least is SL 2015. That is still in the mainstream support lifecycle. That means that you can request a hotfix. You will get year-end updates at the end of this calendar year, so that's going to be a great place to be. And then the other questions I get on top of that is, how about mainstream support? Well, that will go on for SL 2015 until 2020. So you've got that going on, and then it will switch into extended support, which will go through 2025. So hopefully this gives you a good snapshot of where you're at. Again, if you have any questions, you can speak to Dan or whoever your contact is to talk to them about what this means, what lifecycle means to you, and what you might need to be thinking about. All right, so lifecycle. Next thing, let's talk about what's happened since last year. Again, this was supposed to be presented a year later after the release of the conference that we had last year. Let's talk about what we've done since then. So since then, we released Dynamics SL 2015 CU2. That's Cumulative Update 2. And it's different in the past. We used to have service packs, but we no longer do service packs. We do cumulative updates. And the idea of this cumulative update is that is a roll-up of all any hotfixes that have released since the last release. Now, what we did a little bit differently with this release is we added some additional content on top of that, which isn't generally what we do, but we'll talk about this might be the new norm going forward, is that we wanted to go ahead and create some items that are focused on Power BI. Now, you might not have heard of Power BI, and in a few short minutes, I'll walk you through here what Power BI is, but think of it as a nice visualization tool from Microsoft that allows you to connect to anything. And so what we did is we created a Power BI dashboard and released it with that CU2 release And what it means is if you're on 2015, it doesn't matter which version you're on, we have a dashboard that will connect to your 2015 installation and let you start viewing information about your projects. So that's available today. If you'd like to get it, speak to your consultant about getting a copy of it. Again, you don't need to go up to 2015 CU2. It's just the files just happen to be bundled inside of there. So keep that in mind. Now, at the same time we released that December release of Dynamics SL 2015 CU2, we did a big release of the web apps. We did a lot of hot fixes, actually a lot of, to be honest with you, a lot of changes. A lot of changes were made for that December release last year. And then since then, we've continued to add new things. So we've got new web apps, we've got enhancements to the web apps, hot fixes. And basically the big thing that we did is we went to something called monthly releases. So no longer did you have to wait, 6 months to 12 months to more to get a hot fix or to get a new enhancement. We're able to address them very quickly. And we've been very, very successful at that. And we've seen a lot of positive feedback based on this ability to get things out quicker and address them and keep on moving forward. So that's been a really, really nice thing. And that's for me, that's kept me a lot really busy because I've been working with customers on getting those enhancements, making sure they get into the product and so forth. So it's been very, very busy, but also very rewarding to see all the enhancements that we made. Now, speaking of those enhancements that we made, let's talk about those. So maybe there's some people on the call. If there's a lot of people on the call, since we focus on project, there's a lot of things that we can do with web apps that are focused on project. So let's first talk about it. Hopefully you know about web apps, but in case you don't, web apps is basically our way to remotely access Microsoft Dynamics SL. That means that I can go to a web page on my Microsoft device, my Apple device, my Android device. I can do it wherever I want. So we're hopefully addressing that need to get access to the data no matter where you're at. And we've had that access in the past, but nothing that could ever be run across all these devices. So that's obviously a huge benefit. So you don't need to worry about so-and-so's an Apple person, someone's an Android person, doesn't matter, we can access that same data. And as far as what we've done, again, that release back in December started the new web apps. We've got some vendor maintenance, customer maintenance, payroll employee maintenance. And those are screens that obviously to be able to open up, edit, view, make changes, add new people on the fly. And then we've made over 75 different web app enhancements since that time frame. So we've got a lot of things that we've added to the product. If you aren't familiar with what's in web apps, I'll take a quick slide here just to talk you through it. And then we're going to really highlight what's exciting to me are some of those cool changes that we've made over the past, I guess now 10 months. So, of course, it's project focused, so of course we're going to do time and expense entry. The big things to note there is we've continually enhanced our time entry based on feedback. We've added expense enhancements, including, of course, the ability to attach receipts, which we all need. The next thing is to being able to do timesheets, not time entry, but time sheets, which is the idea that Jeff's in charge of putting time in for Stephen and Tiffany. So I go and I log into a screen where I can put in multiple people's time at the same time, geared towards that end user. So again, that's the idea behind that screen. So that's new, but available here through web apps. Also, of course, you're going to expect it. All the approvals that go along with doing data entry, you need to be able to approve them as well. The next is on the top of the next column is, of course, setting up a brand new project. New to the web is being able to set up a brand new resource. So I need a new resource. Her name is Val. We need to set her up in the system, get her working right away. I can be remote and do that. I can even set up her rates. So maybe her rates are, it's $75 when she's working on this one project, 50 here, 100 there, again, being able to set up that. The next is the project analyst, which is a long time feature, but now it's been rewritten to run in web apps as a report. And what that allows us to do is get a good financial view of how your projects are doing. Now the next column focuses on some new areas that are available on the web now as well. One is the employee utilization module. And the idea behind it is that we can set up Jeff and say, Jeff, you need to be 75% billable. So we could set it up and be able to track against that. But the one that really gets me really excited about here is this resource planning. And resource planning to me really is like the sandbox. So for example, when you're setting up a project, you can say that I'm going to budget, 100 hours for consulting, and then, but there's really no way to kind of play around and see who you're going to pop in there. This resource planning allows me to do it. So I'm going to put Jeff 25 hours this week, 20 hours next, 15 next. All right, how am I doing with availability? Oh, I still have some time left. You know what? Let's speed this up. I'm going to throw Val on it. Again, It's all that what if scenarios being able to push around. And then once you kind of get it to where you like it and you want to actually change from a generic consultant resource to an actual person, you can actually copy that data over to your budget and move forward. So to me, a wonderful, wonderful feature that we've been able to add. The next one, we talked about the maintenance screens that we've added. In red, we have the ability to do reporting. So we've got our web apps reporting, which allows you to run basically about 78% of your reports. What's not included? Well, you can't do invoicing, you can't print checks, that kind of stuff. They're not available. But any of the core SL, a lot of the core SL reports, as well as the ability to do your own custom reports, can be put out on the web. We also have the quick query feature, which will go ahead and create a quick query, allow you to do the same functionality as inside of the core product, can be done remotely on the web, as well as an inventory lookup. And we also included some features that were available in the business portal as well, which is our requisition item request entry and approval, as well as our payroll and payroll advance time entry. So lots of items going on here, lots of cool features. We continue to develop. Now, what I'm going to do is take a few seconds here just to highlight some of the new things that we've added over the last 10 months. And some of them here just happened, we're going to be the big splash, but you're here with me now, so you can get to the splash right now. So we created our menu system, very simple. Obviously, you've got your projects. By clicking out projects, it will expand and show you all the different screens that are under that project area. Now, what we've done is though it's a fine menu system as well, what I always wanted to be was much more colorful. So I'm happy to say here, we now have colorful tiles. Now, taking a step back, if you like the other one, I don't mean to offend, so you can leave the other one as it is, but we have a feature that will allow us to turn on the tiles. Now, obviously this is a much more colorful, very much nicer looking interface, especially if you're running it on a phone. It's very much easier to get your finger onto these icons than it is to a line item. So two benefits there. Looks better and it's easier to use on a remote or a mobile device. The way we've built it, again, we've got the different colors that are associated to the different modules. So if I go into the projects and I go down, now I'm seeing all of the different screens that are associated with the projects area. So I've got time card, expense entry, and so forth. So it's a similar idea, but again, the idea, instead of showing you this menus listing it, we're giving you icons. So to me, that's a huge one. I know, yes, it's just graphical, but it gives you the feeling of it's new and fresh and cool, which it's always been, but now my icons can reflect the way that I feel about my app. Another thing, we also have the ability to show you whether you have approvals. This is actually, it's hard to see in a screenshot, but it actually will scroll across to let you know if there's anything out there that needs you to look at. Now, the thing, because we're all about turning things on and off, being able to do that and to customize it. The next thing is that we can then also customize those tiles. So let's say I wanted to take an existing tile and add a smiley face. Well, I can do so. I take my shared information, I put a little smiley face on it. It's great and it's available to look. Or you can be really silly like me and you can make yourself an icon in his own mind. So what I did here is, again, it's very simple. All I'm doing is taking the existing, and I'm pretty sure that was the item request or requisition icon. I just went into the folder where they're stored. Obviously, I had to be an administrator. Not everybody can do this. But I went in there and I just took another icon, another file, put it in there, and dropped it into the file and let it start using that as well. So is that the biggest thing in the world? I know for me it is, because I guess I can see my face now. But more importantly to you guys, it means that, again, you can customize it to your need. Maybe there's something that you really need to point people to, get their attention. You can now do that with custom tiles. Now, the next area is some enhancements that we've done based on some real life scenarios. And again, this is why I love working with customers. Here's a scenario that I've done many times. It's Friday afternoon. Jeff needs to get his time into the system. He comes in, he sees that he put in his project. Oh yeah, I must have put my time in. So I click process, I change it to completed. I click on save, and then I look down and I go, oh no, I only put 8 hours in. Boy, am I in trouble. Now, today in the SL world, what I have to do is I have to contact my boss, Valerie, and say, Valerie, hey, I know it's Friday afternoon or Friday night, and I know you're really, really busy finishing up something, but do you have a chance to go in and reject my time card? Well, Val's probably going to get around to it, but not probably when I want to get to it, because she's busy. She's a busy person. So one of the great features that we've added is the ability to turn on something called reopening your time card. So if I click on the summary button, it'll go ahead and pull up a screen. and a new button becomes enabled if this feature is turned on, that'll allow me to reopen it. And the idea is that my time card was submitted. It hasn't been looked at yet because no one's had a chance to approve it, but then I can click on the reopen button. It pops up, allows me to type in Y, and actually it requires me to say Y. I can click the reopen button, and then ta-da, my time card is available to start editing. Great feature, great functionality. Some other things to think about as well is on the other side, what's happening is, let's say Valerie is the approver. She's getting notified that something needs to be approved. When I reopen it, she's getting notified that it's been reopened, and this is the reason why Jeff reopened it. So she has all that information as well. So again, can't do this in the rich client. I love the fact that we can kind of take liberty here and continue to enhance the product here through the web apps. Another one as well is we had a whole session focused on that we were going to talk about this at the conference, is how you can start adding external links to the product. It's not something that you can drag and drop today, but the idea behind it was that an administrator could come in and start putting in pertinent links. Links maybe to internal SharePoint sites, links to whatever it happens to be that's important to you. So when you're working in your web apps, you can get to those links and be able to open them up. So again, just an example of what can be done there. The next one, another example of something that we all use and all need, and being able to roll this out with the core product. And the idea behind it is that if you are doing your expense entry, this is the screen for expense entry, when you're putting in something like your car and your airfare and so forth, you're generally putting things all against the same project. Not always, but in general, I would say that's true. So when I go to do a new line item and it comes up and it's asking me for the new, putting in my expense type, and I type or I look up and I choose hotel, what will happen is as soon as I choose hotel or type in hotel, it automatically will populate with the project and task. The reason why it does is it looks and says, okay, you need a project and task. I'm going to look at the previous line and copy those values down for you so you don't have to type them in. Again, a huge time saver for people who have to do that, because now we don't have to do it over and over and over again. It's going to be done for you. Now here's one that's coming soon. This is for a lot of the customers that are using the idea of invoice comments. And I apologize for being a little grainy, but let's just talk about the idea real quick. When you're doing a data entry, some companies, it is required that you have an invoice comment for every day that you work, because that's what we've required. And in the core product, what you would have to do today, you'd have to click on the field, like the 26 hours, and then you'd have to look down here where it says invoice comments and see if that invoice icon changed and had a little star next to it. Then I'd have to click on the next day and look down here. Now, obviously, that doesn't work very well if your job is to quickly see and wonder if you have all your invoice comments in. The way it's built right now and the way it will be rolling out is now I can quickly see that I've put in my invoice comments for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. I don't need to guess. There's something in there. But it looks like I did not do one for Saturday for the second project. So now I can go ahead. Now, so what it's going to do is it's an icon that I can visually see that something's in there or not, or I can click on the button to quickly get to that screen to make the data entry. This already exists in the SL 2018 web apps, but it is a feature that we look to roll back here into 2015, so in the near future. So we have been on a wonderful journey here over the past 10 months with our web apps. Basically, we've had a lot of success with our monthly release cycles. It's been very positive. We've been quickly been able to address people's issues, not in in 3 to 6 months. We can do it much quicker and get things rolled out. We're continuing to review requests. If you are a customer on the phone who is using web apps, please, I would love to hear from you as to enhancements, changes, things that you'd like to see to the product, because we are not done. This is by nowhere a done product or a product that we don't want to invest in. We're continuing to invest in and make them better and better. So I'm always interested in hearing about those new features and being able to add them. So again, as we continue to add things, we're building things out for SL 2018, and we're building out things and adding things to 2015 as well. So been going very well, and again, this really, really successful monthly release cycle. Now, the next thing we're going to jump into is around Power BI, Power Apps, and Flow. These are standard Microsoft technologies that are not necessarily Microsoft Dynamics technologies. And one of the benefits that we have is, since we are a Microsoft product, is we get early interested and access to these things, so we can start building items that move with Power BI, that work with Flow, and so forth. But let's take a step back. What is Power BI? Think of Power BI as really as a nice visualization tool to the data that you have. The The nice thing about Power BI is it can connect to something as simple as an Excel document. So I can connect to my Excel document and make little pretty graphs and stuff around the data that's in an Excel document. Or we can go to something that's much more robust, like a Microsoft Dynamics SL database. So it kind of spans the gambit between those two areas and does it quite nicely. And the idea behind it is that I can create a nice little dashboard, publish it, and make it available to other people inside my company so we can share these reports and be able to keep on track of things. So that's what Power BI is kind of at a high level. And if you need to learn more, there's plenty. There are many, many, many videos out there and things that you can learn about it. Now, as I said, we released a Power BI information with the CU2 release. Again, you don't need to be on CU2 to use this Power BI things, but it is bundled with that. And again, speak to your consultant to find out how you can get a copy of those files. Because in those files are two things. One, there is a file that will actually walk you through how to connect and how to download Power BI, and then how to connect it to Dynamics SL. So if I want to start playing with it, Jeff, what are the things that I need to think about and need to do? We've got a full document that will walk you through that. On top of that, what I'm really more excited about is the fact that we've started building dashboards. Now, really what a dashboard is just multiple reports put together in a format that can be easily accessed and viewed. And again, usually the idea is to give some visual cues on some things that you might want to look at or take a look at or keep track of. So this is an example of where we have basically 4 different reports that we have out here. This one here in the center top is our month-to-date labor and expenses by project. So we can take a look at where we are with month-to-date labor and expenses and see how we're doing. Right now, this report obviously is a little bit skewed because it's demo data, but you can see there's a lot more expenses than labor. But generally, you would see a little breakout, so you could see how is it going? Are we doing more expenses in labor and how that's broken up? Down here below it, we're going to see our gross margin. So we're seeing gross margin versus the prior month. So we can kind of see where we are now versus last month and see how we're trending. Are we going up, going down? Here it seems to be we're going up, which is, wow, big jump there. So we can see how we're doing and keep track of that. Now, other areas we can take a look at month-to-date revenue, labor expenses, gross margins, and so forth. So we can kind of take a look at that information here. And this particular view right here happens to be very interactive in the sense that it can allow us to take a very high-level view. And I think on my next screenshot, you can see how we can actually drill down to the details to see who are the people that are involved with those items as well. We also have a top 10 projects based on really what we're sorting by, but we can see what the top 10 projects are as well. Now, the other thing it has as well is included with this, just like you have, and you might hear this word slicers. It's kind of a popular word to use in the Excel world. But the idea is that I can go ahead and choose exactly what I'm seeing. I can choose to see all years, choose one specific years, choose multiple years, one specific period, multiple periods, and so forth. So you can really kind of slice it and dice it with this item here. Now the next is we have that same exact report, but that one was just on the month to date information. This is an inception to date. So show me for the entire project up to now, how are we doing against it? So it's similar information, but it's looking at a much larger scale just to see what's the trend with that project. And you can see in this particular example on the right-hand corner, we've drilled down to get to the details of the exact people that are putting their time in there so you can actually see who it is to get track of that. So again, interactive, visual, and giving you some great information about your projects. Now the last tab that we have here is the third dashboard that comes with it is one that's kind of the top and bottom. Give me the top 5 or top 10, bottom 5, bottom 10, whether it's projects or whether it's project managers. So it gives you a nice view of that. And the part that I like the most about it is all the different ways you can slice the data. We've got project to date revenue, expenses, labor, estimate to complete hours and so forth. So and the nice thing about it is you can run one, choose one of them like revenue. That's all I want to see. Or I can choose multiple at the same time. So you have that same capability to choose one or multiple. So lots of great things in there. And again, this is available to you today. If you're on SL 2015, speak to your consultant, talk to them about it, getting a copy of that report and loading it into your Dynamics SL data. Again, right now, this is just for projects. So if you're a project person, this is great. As we get closer to the next release, we will have additional items that we will add as well. Now, the next area we'll talk around is, we talked about Power BI. This is Power Apps. So this is creating applications that can access your data and be able to create applications that actually interact and view information that you have. Now, the idea is that you've got the data and system already. You just need to be able to either connect to it to view it, or maybe to interact with it as well. So you can create an app, you can create forms, all the whatever you need to do to interact with your data. And this can be all done on many different devices, whether it's just on your phone, whether it's on a tablet. You can run it. There's no need for any app store. You don't need to download it. You are accessing this Power App and running it, kind of like we talk about our web app, the similar idea there. Now, the idea, again, that you can connect to anything. You can connect to Excel and SharePoint right out of the box. It'll connect to like Office and Office as well. But the idea is that you can also connect to SL using one of the connectors, which is a SQL connector that allows to connect to your SQL database as well. And again, it's the idea that you understand the problem, you know how to build the solution. You don't need to build something inside of Dynamics SL. If you want to be able to push it out to other people, Power Apps gives you a good opportunity to look into. Now, on top of that, there's another solution that works with it as well called Flow. And the idea of Flow is really a way to monitor and be notified and take action on things that are happening in your data. Now, here's their example, which if you were a tweeter, this is something that might be of interest of you. This is one that's actually available to you today right out of the box as a Flow. You can set it up that if someone happens to tweet about you, that you will then go ahead and automatically send them an email thanking them for their tweet. You can also at the same time gather their tweet and their information, put it into an Excel file, and send it to you. And you can get an email that says, look, and let's say Valerie said something nice about Dynamics SL, and she got an email thanking her for that. And then what I might do is I could receive an email saying that here's Valerie, here's what she said, here's her information. And I'm like, you know, Val, that's new. I've never spoken to her. I probably should put her in our customer database. So you could connect it to your CRM, your Dynamics, whatever, or into your SL, whatever you want to connect it to. So it has that capabilities to really connect to a lot of different areas. And it does allow some interactivity on your email. So, you know, I can get that email, I can choose to approve to send her to Dynamics or reject it and so forth, which is, I think, an item that we're going to kind of take advantage of here in some later items that we'll talk about. Just like we talked about web apps, with Power Apps, we have the idea this is available. And there's a lot of different presets that come with it out of the box. I think here's just a few examples. You could get emailed when something happens, like the work forecast. You can do copy drive files from one drive to another. Again, there's a whole host of different things that you can do built into Flow right out of the back. But also you can customize it to connect with your Dynamics SL data as well. So, oh, and I forgot to fix this. So let's say you have accounts receivable. I apologize. You have customer receivables that are out there. And what we want to be able to do is while you're remotely, you want to be able to view the customer receivables because there's some out there that haven't been paid. Maybe you're out there and you want to be able to run the aging and you're not in the office, no problem. You want to be able to get the results of that aging, and you might want to be able to contact those customers. So I kind of went up with that solution to our developers and said, show me what we can do in the Power Apps and Flow to really help our customers, because I think this is an area that we can start the conversation, but great places like your consultants can then take it to the next level, or you as customers can take it to the next level. So what we'll be delivering is a simple example here. I have an example. The first one is an example of running on a phone. So this is a dashboard that allows me to show my accounts receivable that are out there. I can go ahead and view all the people that are available. I can see their outstanding balances. Again, I'm not logged into SL. I'm just viewing the data that's out there. And then I can go ahead and click on that and said, wow, it's over 24,000. Geez, that's a lot. Let me go see what's going on with them. Now, this is the early prototype, but the idea behind it is going to show us some pertinent information, like their email address or phone number, so I could connect with them. I can see the breakout of what company is, since we have multi-company, which company has the most. There's an additional one that will show me some more breakdowns of the total amounts that are due as well. But then I could be in here on my phone and I could either click on the email, the phone icon. Let's go ahead and say we'll choose the email, excuse me. And it will pull up my email and allow me to start emailing them about this. Dear sirs, why I need to talk to you about this 24,000 that you owe us. So the idea is that I could interact with it, again, right on my phone. but again, this could be run on a desktop as well. Another thing as well is you might come down here and say, hey, I know that we just received a big payment from City Power. I wonder why it's a big balance. I should probably go run the aging. Again, I'm away from the office. I have the capabilities to click here. It'll bring up the screen where I can choose from any of the statement cycles that I have defined in the system, run them, and it'll say, are you sure? I'll say, yes, I am. And what will happen at that time is it will run the aging process. At the same time, it's creating a file for me because I told it to through Flow. So I was in Power Apps, and now we're kind of interacting with Flow. So Flow created this email for me. It went ahead and attached to it an Excel document with the results of the aging. This is an early version. I think we'll be working on this to make it look a little nicer. But again, the pertinent information is here. What's their balance and how much does it do by the different buckets? Now you can tell this is obviously demo data because everything's well over 90. But again, the idea is there. Now the idea then is that now that I see it and I might want to send this to my manager, so I've set up who my manager is, I can click this button. I could forward this on to them, send them the information, start contacting them about something that I found in there. Now the idea is that I can be in Flow and interact and send things, or I can either interact directly with my SL data. Was a good idea, and I thought was very neat because it's going to lead us into something that we'll talk about here in just a minute. Now, I also said that's great. I love the app. It looks great on my phone. But you know what? When I'm running it on my tablet or my PC, I've got a lot more real estate. Can you build something that makes it look a little nicer? And that's what we did. So we'll also have an app here that's available here to run on your desktop or your tablet. And it allows me to view that same bit of information. In this case, let's go ahead and open up the phone company. And again, it allows us to drill down, see more information about them. We can interact with them via email, via phone, whatever we happen to have set up, and go from there. So great little, this is a quick little example of what we'll be delivering here. Again, early prototypes that we've built out that we'll be working on. Which leads us to what's coming next. The big announcement is around the fact that we will be coming out with Dynamics SL 2018. Dun, da, da. So what's gonna, when's the announcement, when's it gonna happen? Well, that is going to be releasing the first half of calendar year 2018. So that first half, we will be releasing SL 2018 to be able to get it out to you with new features and functionality. Now, the things that are gonna be in there, I just talked about Power Apps, Power BI, Flow, those type of functionality, connecting into SL and making sure things are working is going to be in there. And the other big announcement that comes around with this is a big change into the way that we are going to release SL. So we've had huge success releasing the web apps because the web apps we're able to do on a monthly basis, and Jeff can make his customers happier quicker, which is always what I want to do. I want to make sure you guys are getting what you need to do your job and to get it as soon as possible. So what we're going to do here is we're changing our release cycle to be quarterly when the release of SL 2018 comes out. Now, what does that mean? Well, that means that when SL 2018 comes out, whatever day that is, whether that's the first quarter, second quarter, or somewhere in that first half, that then what we would start doing is start moving into a quarterly release cycle. Now, the first one might not be exactly on the quarter, but again, we would get into that cycle. And the idea behind it is that if the development comes to me and they say, Jeff, we have to hit a date, we need to cut off and stop adding new features. You can guess how excited that makes me. That makes me very upset because I want the most that we can get into the solution. So we've spoken about it and talked about it, and the way that we're going to get around Jeff wanting to have the world is that we're going to go to these release cycles. This means that when I talk about the features here in a second that are going to be in the product, if it's not there on day one, it doesn't mean it's done. It means that we have an opportunity to release it at a later quarterly update. Something totally new, but something that we've seen so much success with the web apps. I want to try it now because I don't want to have to wait another year or two to get a new version of SL out. I want it sooner rather than later, but I still want to be able to add new features. So that is a real big change, but it's something that I'm really excited about. I'm going to skip ahead because these are all on the following slide, and this kind of tells you some of the things that we're going to focus on. So we talked about the whole idea, and I went through and spent some time with you on Power Apps, Power BI, and Flow. That's a big area that we've been focusing on. I can't lie. That's something because I can continue to add new features and functionality to SL and enhance them and tweak it, which we will, but these are the things that I think you're going to start seeing more value add. They're things that do not require you to be inside of Dynamics SL. It's giving you more what we all want. I mean, I need access to things in my life just like you do. I want to make that stuff available to you when it's your Dynamics SL information. The big thing that we're focusing on, though, along with the things that I already showed you, is to make an OData connection is what we're hoping to get with SL. And the idea behind it is it makes it much simpler, that it's something you can go online to Power BI, say that you want to connect to your SL database online. Say that you want to connect to your SL database. It will ask you the series of questions, get you connected. And then that means that we can distribute a bunch of different packs of information to you as they become available. Now, one of the things that I talked about inside of my flow demo is that it has the ability to interact. And one of the things that I was inspired by the fact is that I had seen some demos and flows where people received emails and then they chose to approve things, and it went back and approved them inside whatever they were working on. So with that, I have asked the team to go ahead and add to the Dynamics SL product to start adding the tables that will support an approval process inside of Dynamics SL. Something as simple as we want to be able to submit items for approval before we go ahead and pay them, those type of things. So being able to have the core tables built into the system will be what we'll be adding in the next 2018, and then we'll continue to be able to add more approval items on top of that. Now, along with that, we've also going to the left, we'll go over here, continuing to enhance our query and preview functionality, and also the quick query features, an area that I've seen so much value add into talking to customers. Again, one of the features we had before was being able to look at an invoice listed and see the preview of what it would look like, being able to add that across the product as well. Other areas with the optimizing financials, one of the areas that I really looked at is I took a look at some long time requests in the general ledger payables and other areas of the product. Some enhancements that we really, it takes me 5 steps to do this, Jeff, when it really should take me 1 or 2. So there are some features, and you probably are filling them in your mind, of that could be made a lot quicker. I'm not going to completely change the way we do all of them, but boy, wouldn't it be simpler just to make this process a 1-click or 2-click process instead of 5-click and release and all that other stuff. So I spent a lot of time looking at those requests that have been in the system because I think those bring value add to you today. I'm not going to revolution the way that we do payables or receivables and change it, but if I'm making what you're doing easier and more viable to you, then that's where I see the benefit. Next, web apps, we talked about that. Again, that's going to continue to go on. And then moving over to projects is continuing to enhance our project area. One of the many project items that we've been focusing on is the standard request that I always get is, Jeff, I need to be able to view the invoices that are in preview. So if I create a preliminary invoice, I want to be able to view it, take action on it, and then be able to say, yep, I'm okay with it, so I can approve it. Now, that doesn't work so well today. What were the ideas that we're coming up with is being able to store these up on SharePoint sites. So being able to store those preliminary invoices, which you can't do today. So enhancing the current features to take advantage of what's there, and then be able to expand that out to be able to make what they're doing today work a lot better. So just the tip of the iceberg, some high-level themes that we have going on here. Again, the cool thing that I want you to take away is, yes, there's some great things that are coming here, but also the fact that no matter when this comes out, if you don't see one of these things on day one, that does not mean it is not coming. It just means it's still in the works. So for me, as a person who wants more from my customers, I'm very excited about this. So with that, hopefully you see that we are been very busy and continue to be very busy on working on Dynamics SL, whether it's the web apps, which we're doing this year, the 2018 release that's going to come out next year, or just our ongoing support and development of the product going forward. So lots of great things in the Dynamics SL world. I definitely look forward to getting questions that you might have. I'm going to turn it over to Val, but if you saw anything during this presentation, definitely speak to a consultant so they can work with me to get this, but also feel free to reach out to me with any questions on that you might have. Now with that, I'm going to go ahead and change the presenter over to Valerie, so she's going to talk to you about some things that you can start taking advantage of today with Plumline Consulting. Val?
Hello, everybody, and good afternoon. I hope you're seeing my regular screen and not my preview screen. Is that right, Jeff?
That's correct.
I've been having screen sharing problems these days. I am presenting today some information on what is going on in Plumline Consulting and what products we have that we want to make sure you're aware of to maybe give yourself some easier processes or to try to speed up some normal procedures that you do on within Dynamics SL. But we also have some things like our SL 2011 year-end package. As Jeff mentioned earlier, there will be no year-end updates for SL 2011, so Plumline has created a year-end package for you. And if you're on SL 2011, Service Pack 2, Feature Pack 1 or Service Pack 3, we will be providing you the year-end updates. And you can see some pricing on the screen. You can reach out to your SIS consultant and have them provide you this pricing. There's some, if you sign up by October, the price is a little less than if you sign up in November or after November. So reach out to SIS if you're on SL 2011 and you need your year-end updates. We do have a package that will provide this for you so that you can get your updates and then schedule your upgrade for next year. One of the really exciting things I want to talk about is our Quick Find product. This product used to be called Rainbow Search, but we have rebranded it and repackaged it, and we are now calling it Quick Find. And I love our Quick Find product because it makes finding information in SL super fast. It's not a quick query. It is a screen where you can come into, and you can see I have my AP screen in front of you. You can come in here and you can say, I have a vendor and I know this vendor has something and I'm looking for an invoice greater than $500. And you could do shift greater than sign, highlight the amount and put in $500. And the system will go out, look for that vendor's name and the amount, and then put all the results in a grid for you like you see on the screen. So you can do a number of different search options, but the really nice thing is once you have the information in the search results, you can export that information to an Excel pivot table. So we have this module for AP, AR, GL, and Project Controller is one package, and then you can add in purchasing, sales order, inventory lot, and modules like that to get the whole package. So you have some options, but again, you have the export to Excel pivot table functionality now in AP, AR, GL, and Project Controller. I use this on a daily basis in AR. I know Plumline, we use this product all the time. It's definitely a functionality that makes just looking for key information easier in SL. So if that's something you do a lot of searches on, or if you find yourself having to look up information a lot, you might want to take a look at this. And with this and all the products I'm going to show you today, we are doing a 20% off promotion for the SIS customers. So contact Debbie and get, if you find a product that you are interested in, you're going to want to get in on that promotion. Another great thing that's going on with Plumline is we have partnered with a company called FastPath, and we are now providing a product called Audit Trail. And this Audit Trail module gives you the ability to track all the changes made within Dynamics SL, all the way down to the table and the field. And then it also gives you the ability to send out emails with the results for those audits based on a date range. So it's a really robust auditing tool, and with auditing season coming up, this is giving people the ability to provide electronic audit trails to their auditors. They can say, you can go in and say, give me everybody and all the changes made to your vendors, or give me everything, all your changes made to your employees, or give me everything that was done to your customer tables. I mean, there are all sorts of things that you could get, or you could provide audit trails for. The system is super easy to set up. You just check the boxes of things that you want to track, and then you're off to the races. So if an audit trail product is something you'd like to add into your SL system, please reach out about our new Audit Trail powered by FastPath. Then just a side note, something I want to mention, if you have not found an ACA product and need to be able to stay compliant with the Affordable Care Act this year, please reach out about our Affordable Care Act product. We do have one that's cloud-based, subscription-based module, and it allows you to either pull your information out of payroll, or you can just pull your information out of your existing, maybe your outside payroll system, and put it into an import template and upload it into the cloud-based product that gives you electronic filing automatically. So it's a very robust Affordable Care Act module. It does give you the ability to stay compliant with those laws and regulations that are not going away this year. Okay, you do have to file if you have 50 or the equivalent of 50 or more employees, so please keep that in mind. We do have a recorded webinar about that product out on our Plumline website, as well as we have a webinar going on the 25th to show the product as well. Next thing I'd like to talk about are some of our most popular products, things that I've seen over the year that people get really excited about. So if you are tracking your prepaids in an Excel spreadsheet, you would really like to look at this product. It's fairly inexpensive and gives you the ability to bring in your prepaids into SL. You can bring them in from the actual voucher, or you can just go into the prepaid screen itself that you see in front of you and create it. You enter all the information about the prepaid, which periods you want it to be amortized across. You can also choose the debits and the credit accounts you want it to be broken down, whether you want it to be broken down by the amount or by the percentage. And once you have it all set up, you can just go into the prepaid screen once period and click the button and process all your prepaids, and it'll create the debit and credit transactions and post it to the general ledger for you. So it really speeds up your prepaid process if you're tracking prepaids on an Excel spreadsheet outside of SL. We're trying to get all your processes within the system. Another manual process you might be doing is credit cards. So with your credit cards, you might be bringing in, or you might be downloading your statement every month and then hand keying each of the line items in the statement into Dynamics SL. We've created this product for you so that you can download your credit card statement, import it into this grid, edit the lines, and then post it to accounts payable instead of having to hand key each of those lines. So you can choose the account sub-account combination, the company, the PO, the project, the task, all the things that you'd like to be able to edit. You could edit in the grid and then post it directly to AP and not have to hand key those transactions in from your credit card statement. So if you are using credit cards and hand keying your statements in on a monthly basis, this product helps you update your vendor history, your 1099 information, as well as takes that hand keying away. Another credit card product we have is Voucher to Credit Card. Now this product gives you the ability to pay your vouchers using your credit card. You can load your vouchers into the grid, select them, and hit process, and then they pay it. It does the process for you, paying the voucher and then creating a voucher to the credit card for you to then go and process. You can tag your vouchers as they come into the system and say, I usually pay all of my Home Depot bills with my Visa card. Then anytime something from Home Depot comes in, it would get tagged your Visa, and you could load, give me everything I normally pay with my credit card with my Visa in this code screen. You could have all of those transactions loaded into the grid. Now, a side note is a lot of people have banks and credit cards that are credit card companies that are saying, let us pay your bill and we'll give you money back, cash back, bonus, things like that, those different programs where they're giving you rewards back. So you could load the grid and export the information to an to a CSV file, and then upload it to your bank or credit card statement, as well as process the documents within SL. So the product gives you both abilities, and if you're starting to see those or thinking about using one of those bank or credit card programs, this might be a product that's good for you. Next up, if you are interested or if you have the need to have multiple remittance addresses in SL. SL only gives you the ability to have one remittance address. This product, Vendor Multi-Remit, gives you the ability to have multiple remittance addresses. So if you have the need, or you find yourself wishing you had could have multiple remittance addresses for one vendor instead of having to set up separate vendors just to have another remittance address, this product is for you. Then we have one-time vendor. If you find yourself having to create single vendor IDs just to be able to process a one-time vendor transaction, you could use this product where you create a one-time vendor code, and then when you pull up that code, it gives you the ability to generate the screen. You type in the one-time vendor information in here, and then you can process that one-time vendor instead of having multiple vendor IDs that you're never going to use again. So that's a very important screen. AP Void Check Entry Plus. If you find yourself voiding a lot of checks and you're tired of that three-step process it takes to void a check, you could load everything into the grid, select the checks that you want to void, and hit process. Then it's going to create the void check entry, the debit memo batches, and the zero check batch. So it's going to do all the standard SL processes for you with the click of a button. Now this product also comes with the AP Voucher Reverser. So if you don't have a check cut but you have a voucher that you want to reverse, you could reverse a voucher using our Voucher Reverser screen. Both functionalities come in the one product. Then we have an account reconciler product. If you have a lot of, or if you do a lot of balancing with intercompany accounts or clearing accounts, this product can help you with your reconciliation process. Then we also, last product I want to mention is our fixed asset product. If you're tracking assets outside the system or on a spreadsheet, you really need to look into bringing your assets into SL. You can process all your depreciation with the click of a button. You can create assets just by using, taking a transaction in accounts payable, general ledger, project controller, or purchasing, selecting that transaction and creating an asset directly from there. This is our most popular product. We have hundreds of customers using it. And again, if you're tracking your assets in an outside spreadsheet or in an outside system, fixed assets is for you. Last but not least, we have a couple of other webinars going on. Plumline is always doing webinars on SL and on our products, so always check out our website under events to see what webinars you can attend. We have some going on this month, so if you would like to attend any of them, you could register on our website. And again, we have a 20% off discount going on for this month. Any purchase that you make on our standard products gets 20% off the product cost, so reach out to SIS. They will be sending you a catalog because we have over 100 add-on products for Dynamics SL. There's a lot of things out there, and you might have time to increase your productivity in your system, adding in some modules to make your life a little easier this end of this year. So again, 20% off. You can contact your SIS consultant. And last but not least, that SL user group conference that was canceled because of Hurricane Irma has been rescheduled for St. Louis in 2018. It's April 23rd to the 26th. If you were registered for the SL conference that was canceled in Tampa, you're automatically registered for the conference this year, but it will be the only conference in 2018. They have moved it over into April. So if you would like to attend, it's a really great conference, provides lots of great content put on by the users. So we preach this conference all the time to people because it is the best conference of the year for the SL community. With that being said, I'm going to go back over to Jeff, and we can take the questions that are in the question queue. So if there are questions in the question queue, we'd be happy to answer them. Jeff, are you there?
Sure, yep. So the question came in for you, Miss Valerie. Is Quick Find and available for SL 2011 as well as 2015? So
Rainbow Search is available for 2011. I will check to see if they made a Quick Find build for 2011. I think they might have. So if it's something you're interested in, Stephanie, Debbie can follow back up with you. I will confirm that we have it in 2011 for you.
Excellent, excellent. If you do have any questions, we do have the question pane open, so we are available here for a minute or two here. Again, if you have any other questions, again, definitely contact your SIS consultant or Debbie or whoever happens to be your person. They are a wonderful resource for your Dynamics SL world, and we are lucky to have them as a partner. From the Microsoft side, I say that. And I really appreciate you, Debbie and Dan, letting us come on today and tell you about the great things of SL and the great things that Val is doing here with Plumline Consulting. So with that, Val, I don't see any other items coming up.
I don't see any other items coming in, so I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. And again, reach out to Debbie Peavy if you have any questions, if you want to take advantage of that 20% off discount. Oh, will you have training available for Power Apps or BI, Jeff?
Well, there is training available today on Power Apps and Power BI that you can get from the Microsoft site. There's lots and lots of videos on it too, on your favorite YouTube channel and so forth. So there are lots that you can do out there today. Most definitely, we will be doing sessions on Power Apps and Power BI. Actually, the Power BI session I'm pretty sure I did one for Debbie last year, so look for that one on the channel or on the Plumline channel, because we've done that one last year. And we will be doing ones for Power Apps and Flow definitely going forward here as we come up to the conference, but also hopefully before that as well. So great question. There's lots there today, and SL specific stuff will be coming here soon.
Any other questions out there in the queue before we end the webinar?
I think we are good.
I think we're good too. So thank you everybody for attending and for the opportunity for us to talk to you today. And we hope you have a great rest of your week.